Hello. Hello. How are we all today? Oh dear. We're here. That's something at least. Right. So I should get used to doing the greeting I have set for myself at present. Hello, I am Blue Moony, fantasy writer and shy magical library in human skin. Good evening, good evening. Okay, so someone did contact me and let me know more about the delay. Yes, more about the delay. And I did a bit of research that I probably should have done long prior to actually ever hitting go live. And I had a little look at the latencies. So I have shifted from a normal latency to a low latency. Yes, it was you. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Thank you for letting me know. It is very important at this point when I'm just starting out. Still have so much to learn. So thank you very much for your help. Hopefully with the lower latency, the delay won't be quite so pronounced. If it's still an issue, I suppose we can always try shifting to the very lowest, but then I believe quality may start to be affected, and we'll just have to balance that up. Yes, how is everyone? How is everyone? The weather here today is a little bit wild. I'm hoping no wind or rain is gonna knock out any power lines, because if that happens, well, we won't be here for long after that. However long the latency, the delay still is. Oh well, nothing's happened like that so far. So, with any luck it won't. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you. Thank you for your concern. I'm feeling better in some ways and a little worse in others. I'm really feeling today I can't write, never could write, never can write sort of feels. So working through that. But as well, we should probably try to keep the time a little more contained than I managed yesterday. So I know I said on my first stream I was going to attempt something new and exciting. Oh dear, error. Oh dear, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So you're probably going to hit some buffering soon. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully it won't last long. Just let me have another look at the connection. Hold on a moment, please. Well, that didn't seem to help, unfortunately. We'll just have to see how things go. Hoping the weather as well. Yay, buffering. Yes. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure what that is. Whether it's the weather has something to do with it, or if it's just always going to be something of an issue here, which would be unfortunate. But as long as I can get audio. Hopefully the audio is here. Mostly listening while doing work. Okay, I hope I prove sufficient background sound while you're working. Don't let me distract you. I'm so sorry. I suppose I shouldn't say sorry, because you are here, and thank you so much for being here. And it happens. Buffering indeed happens. Oh well. Oh, back to excellent connection. Excellent connection. Wonderful. Let's hope it stays excellent. Okay. Yes. Where was I? I was thinking with my brain, and my brain was thinking. What was my brain thinking? Yes, unlike I said on when I said on the first stream I was going to try to do some character interviews, it's, yeah, I don't think I'll get to that tonight. I'm not even planning to do all the characters. I'll just jump across here. Let's go over here. So this is my list of, well, abbreviated, not yet named list of characters. There will of course be many more, but these are just ones that get a little bit more to say at this point. I might throw one more in there. Not a huge character, but deserving. Oh yeah, maybe you pop down here in this bottom section. Oh dear. So yes, we're probably going to keep things a little more simple. How did the language creation go? It did happen. I'm pleased to say it did happen. I've created a language which is quite nice, I think. I'll jump across and talk about that in just a moment. Just a moment, but it definitely happened. And fairly happy. Hopefully I can pronounce most of this language. Although I do have an IPA reader open, so I can have a listen to double check I'm pronouncing it semi-correctly before repeating it. Oh dear, we may run into some buffering again. I'm so sorry. Oh dear. So, yes. Thinky thoughts. Thoughts make sense. Thoughts are things that happen. Yes, characters. Probably going to keep it reasonably basic tonight and keep it to this top tier. I'll probably jump back as I'm writing, or I might even have to do it in my own time and just show you briefly as we run into the characters what's going on with these people and any other characters that pop up as requiring a little more finesse than a name on the page in one line. So anyway, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it 7? Oh, I forgot an important one down here. But yes, not doing those ones at the moment. We've got main girl, little bro, best friend, inside boy, outside boy, the hunter, and the child. I won't be too upset if we don't get quite to the child, because, you know, they're not coming in until pretty much dead center of the story. So she can wait a little while longer. We may not even get into any huge detail with Outside Boy and the Hunter, which will be so disappointing because they're right up there as some of the best characters in my head, at least right now. And yes, we know already that Outside Boy is my favorite, so he's in trouble. Alrighty, so let's have a look at this language, assuming I find the right button to press in Prism. Which button do I press? This one? Oh, well, apparently not that one. Let's have a better look. Let's have a better look. Is this one gonna work? Yes, thank you. Here we are. So, I use a language generation program or a fantasy conlang generation program called Vulgalang. I bought a lifetime subscription. I think it has to be well over 2 years ago now. And whenever I play with it, I am so thankful that I did. You know, get the lifetime subscription. I'm not a fan of paying things month by month. I know it's inevitable with things like streaming services, but if it's a program, it's like a piece of software. I just want to own it. So I'm very, very glad that I get to in this case. So let's just scroll up a bit so I can show you briefly what I did. Oh, we're in the grammar section. Across to phonology. This is the most fun section for me, at least. Let's have a look. So this is what it looks like at the top when you start generating a language. And when you haven't got a language already generated, it just says generate a language, and it can just do it for you without any input from you. And I threw that in a few times today just for fun, and it didn't generate anything I could really pronounce. And while I'm writing a story, I prefer it to use words that I have a hope of pronouncing, because I may be reading them aloud at some point. So yes, best stick within my comfort zone in that respect. Oh dear. So I decided not to use English as the base language and instead used Latin. If we come down here, you'll see Latin is an option. There's a fair number of languages here. I hope one day they'll add more, though I imagine it's a fairly big thing to program something like this. But yes, based it on Latin. I took a few notes of how I messed with it. I removed the phoneme wa, except as an initial consonant. So I took it out as a mid-word consonant and a word final consonant. I added several phonemes. I added the it's written as what appears to be a letter J, but pronounced more like an English Y sound. I don't know what the actual phoneme is called. I'm so sorry. Despite being a library, I'm not so well versed in these matters. I should probably brush up my knowledge at one point. I also added a J consonant. I added a Ts consonant. And I added a Ny. And so I have them all as initial consonants and mid-word consonants combined with several other consonants to make different sounds in the middle. And I threw two of them in as final word consonants. I threw in the J, which is the Y sound, and I threw in the Ny sound, which I believe is most commonly written as GN. So that's what I popped in there. Yes, and then in the... Oh wait, let's just go down here. I did the medium drop-off, so we can just have a look at what that means. Phonemes are ranked by frequency from left to right. Fast rate makes the frequent phonemes more frequent, so we went medium to create the more even spread. And I believe I arranged the phonemes in a natural randomness style. And after one attempt at language generation where I got a bunch of I vowels combined with the J sound, well, the J letter and the Y sound, and it didn't sound the way I wanted things to sound, so I made it an illegal combination because I can do that. My language, my rules. I am only borrowing. I hope I'm doing an alright job, and thank you so much for loaning me your language, various languages and phonemes. I am most grateful. Okay, I banned the same vowel twice in a row, played around here with some vowel probabilities, 20% chance for a vowel at the start of the word, 60% chance at the end. I like words that end in vowels. They're nice. They sound round. Round sounds are lovely. I didn't apply tones because I find, well, tonal languages are incredible and amazing and gorgeous. They're also very intimidating. So I am not making this a tonal language. Anything else down here? Stress. I chose to put the stress on the second syllable for this language. So that will help us with pronunciation of names. Whoops, hold on a moment, sorry. Doop-a-doop-boop-boo. You're the one creating the languages, Topia, after all. Yes. Yes. Oh dear. Yes, I know there's probably not even going to be a huge amount of the language in the books itself. I mostly just do it for the sake of having given names and place names sounding like they belong to the same culture and the same place. I'm not really a huge fan of scattering invented language words throughout, and just when it could just be, for example, the word tavern. If I just randomly used the word for tavern in this language throughout the book and italicized it, why not just call it tavern? Okay, we know they're speaking their language. The book, looking at it in a certain way, is being translated into English in this respect. Maybe other languages one day, but for now, into English so we can read it, or it's just in English so I can write it. We know they're not speaking English, so there's no need to sort of indicate when they're using a word in their language, I suppose. I guess it didn't used to bother me, but now it's starting to bother me in books, seeing words in other languages italicized. Just let them be. If they need to be in the other language for a good reason, just no need to italicize them. Just let them be. And if they don't need to be there, they don't need to be there. I imagine in many cases it's beautiful and useful and vital for it to be written in another language, primarily languages of our present world. Sorry, I just giggled saying present world because it just sounded funny in my head, as though needing to make it clear that our world exists or something. Oh dear. Hold on a moment, I'm so sorry. Just want to swap back for a sec. It was an evolved form of English. Sorry, what did you think was an evolved form of English? My head has spun off in another direction, it seems. I'm so sorry. Yes. For now, let us... Where am I? Where am I? Right here. Back we go. Yes. Language. Spelling isn't a huge deal. It's just showing how we're going to be writing all of these phonemes. Didn't need a second spelling thing there. Vocabulary. Yeah, this part's sort of fun because this is where the massive, we've passed all the grammar rules, dictionary is. Look at that, all the way down. Dictionary, I think it's about 4,000 words. And if it was exactly 4,000 words, it is now +1 because I added one word. Added one word. The new language. Yes, this one's based on Latin. Based on Latin with a few random changes with the phonemes and some different grammatical rules. So back to the top of the dictionary. Oh, the word I added was fortress, by the way, in case it comes in useful for coming up with city names. I might wind up having to generate some more words and add them in as we go. I'm not going to worry about city names or place names or neighborhood names at the moment. I'm just going to focus on first names for the main characters. I'm starting to think that I kind of like surnames to be, another privilege, and they might be gifted with their surnames. So, do you remember yesterday when I was talking about needing some sort of event to distract from main girl's rescue? And I was toying with the idea of either a special edition show for little bro, or maybe some sort of sports event. The sports event would be fun, but I think it would take up a little bit too much space and need more planning than I could give it, unless probably start the planning a whole lot earlier if I went with that. But another option would be, a name gifting ceremony sort of thing. So, more to think about there. I have done a little bit more thinking on the outline and events during the day. And I realized I forgot to mention something important in the outline. Sorry, tangent. Often a tangent already from the characters. Not a great idea, especially when I want to keep today fairly tight. But yes, I forgot to mention why the authorities came for Main Girl, which is fairly important and a reasonably massive oversight on my part. So the reason they came for Main Girl is that for Little Bro having such a high fate particle count, they find it reasonably inconceivable that he wasn't just picked up on earlier, because there was an opportunity several years before then when he did have account reading for, won't go into the reasons now, but he did have account reading several years earlier, and even if his fate wasn't absolutely through the roof then the way it is now, it still would have been of note and enough to take notice, but it wasn't. I imagine it was, reasonably low. Not zero like Main Girl's, but reasonably low. And so they come for Main Girl because they want to find out if she was doing something to somehow mask his fate or something. They don't know what, but they just need answers, and she's the first place to start? Is that an oxymoron? She's where they're starting. Oh dear. I think I won't do this very often, but I was briefly watching some of my stream from last night just to check what I sound like and see if I can learn anything to improve. And I came across something rather silly that I said. And I said it wasn't safe for the lower city to sort of be in a resistance. And yeah, I guess that is fairly obvious that it's not safe to resist an oppressive regime. What I don't know if I conveyed it well enough, but what I meant to say is that, yes, of course it's not safe, but it's next to impossible for them to do so, because they're sort of like, walking rebellion alarms. The instant one of them gets a random fate count check and, it's out of proportion, one interrogation and it's all over again. So, yes. Sorry. I'm just finding I haven't got my Windows set up very well at the moment. So I'm just, to see the chat properly, I'm just going to swap back over here for a second. I'll have a quick look. I'll get better at this, I'm sorry. Okay, surnames being a privilege makes sense, as in the past, slaves being freed up, they pick their previous master's name or surname as their own. That is right. So there is a precedent for that. A ceremony about it would make sense. Okay, and they're probably... and since it's such an important ceremony, there would be lots of planning beforehand and lead up, and we would have known about it already. It's just during the talk between the politician and the little brother after he's had his breakdown, it's just sort of encouraging him for it and, setting the scene, I guess, for when it's going to be happening very soon. I'm guessing a week or so. So Inside Boy has a week to plan how to get Main Girl out. Oh well, he's clever. I'm sure he'll figure it out. I'm hoping he will, because I currently have no idea. Come on, Inside Boy, help me out. You're going to have a name soon. You're finally going to have a name. So is Main Girl. Everyone's going to have names. Names all around. I do like naming. Naming characters is fun. It makes everything feel more real, tangible, and this is an actual story that's happening, and these are people in my head. They have names. It also makes me very attached to them. Okay, so let me put the language back up. I made the mistake again. I keep showing you my studio. I'm sure I put the capture for this particular website. I'll fiddle and play a bit more. I'll get better, I'm sorry. Still just my third stream. I hope so much you won't hold my rather chaotic take on streaming against me. Things will smooth out. The weather will clear. The sailing will be smooth. One day. Not today, clearly. Okay, so this language that was generated is called the language of Brülken, natively known as Brülke. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. You won't be able to hear this because I haven't set it to come through. Or if you do hear it, you're not supposed to. So we know. I'm just going to have a quick double check of this. Brülke. Language is Brülke. And I kind of like that. Name. The first one I generated was called Troske, which I also quite liked, but that's the one where I got some phoneme combinations that I didn't like, so I had to regenerate with some new rules there. Okay, I'm not going to try reading this. That's the example sentence. Oh dear, video issues again. I'm so sorry. I'm sure it's not the LAN cable, and it can't just be the weather, because there were no weather issues yesterday or the day before. So but my LAN cable, my precious LAN cable, it's all probably working fine. Dear, I think I was talking you through stuff on this page without swapping back. I'm sorry. Here we are. Anyway, yes, this is the line I'm not going to try to read out loud. Here is the language name, and let's get name generating. I already generated a few names right after I finished making the language, because it gives me happy neurotransmitters. I do like it. And I'm not sure I'll use any of these ones. I like a few of them, but I'll still go through and generate a bunch of names, and we'll see what happens. I'll just read out to you the ones that I've already got. I have... Oh, this is assuming I'm pronouncing them correctly too. I have Brioc, Min, Mars, Citra, Traus, Seis, Faye, and Noel. And I suppose I like a lot of them because some of them sound a little similar to names that exist in our world, which just gives them that little extra hit of reality. Don't have to suspend disbelief quite so much, which I imagine can help some people. Anyway, the names from here that I really like are Brioc and Traus. I was kind of liking the idea of Traus for Inside Boy. It sounds a little bit like Klaus, which is a name I quite like. Faye and Noel are lovely too. I prefer the sound of Noel as opposed to how it's written here, which is simply the N-O-L. I just worry that sort of... I don't know, it's just not talking to me as much as if there were another vowel in there, it might be talking to me more. But the pronunciation is the important thing, I suppose. And Noel is a lovely name. There's also the possibility of combining these, like Min Citra or something. And also just saving a bunch of the things that I generate to use as place names or to combine as surnames. I'm liking the idea of keeping most given names reasonably short and simple, either 1 or 2 syllables. And, you know, the high and mighty chosen Baum's surnames can be ridiculously flamboyant in both length and pronunciation. Oh dear, I'm just going to have a sip of water, excuse me. They sound familiar. Yes, quite a few of these names do. I think there is some appeal in that. Okay, I just have a pen and paper here to write down some of the names that I like. Oh, I know it would be easier to probably copy paste somewhere, but while I'm still a novice at streaming, I don't want to accidentally mess with my windows, so I hope you'll please bear with me as I write down the names I like as I generate them. I'll probably just jump through fairly quickly and try to generate a bunch of them, and then as we go through the characters we can pick names and see how we go. Okay, let's start generating. Okay, generate character / place names. Troix. 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 It's quite nice. Troix. Don't know if I'd give it to a main character, but possibly a side character. That's nice. Let's have another one. Greener. That's cute. Greener. Greener. Sorry, I'm writing down the spelling and the IPA pronunciation. So it just takes me a moment. Let's have another one. Stew. Assuming I'm probably not even pronouncing that right. Let's have a look. Stew. 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 Sorry, I'm not giggling at people called Stew. Hello, you have a marvelous name, all the Stews out there. I'm only giggling because every time I hear the name Stew, I just hear it spoken in Mother Abigail's voice from The Stand, the 90s TV adaptation, of which I'm a fair fan. Less of a fan of the more recent Amazon Prime version. I didn't enjoy that nearly as much. But the 90s version was really good. I mean, the Amazon one had a few redeeming features, had a few solid choices and changes that I was very, very much behind. But just in general, the whole show seemed to lack a lot of the soul that the 90s version had. So yes, that's the only reason. It was just a joyful giggle at the name Stew. Stew. Again, maybe not a main character, but good one. Good one to have in the name bank. Let's generate another. Oh, Scupus. Maybe not that one. Let's skip that one. Nui. I think that would be pronounced Nui. Let's have a quick listen over here. Sorry I didn't rig it so you could hear the IPA reader. I'll figure that out one day if we ever do something like this again. Nue. Oh, that's really pretty. Nue. Oh, sorry, you can see it. I didn't realize the Stu and Steve had the initials that. Yeah, no, I didn't realize, I'm sorry. It is jumping back and forth as I'm changing windows. It's not supposed to do that. I set it to just read this one window, but oh well, that's what's happening. I'm sure you don't mind seeing me copy paste the IPA pronunciation into the IPA reader. Okay, but yes, Nue. The N-U-Y spelling looks really interesting too, so, well, looks interesting to me. With my knowledge of language looks interesting to me. Maybe less interesting, more familiar to others. I don't know, but I really like that one. Nue. Maybe just because it sounds like Yue, and that's how many anime shows when dubbed seem to pronounce Yue. Has a nice sound. Sorry, dwelling on a name. Let's keep going. That one could... Nue. I'm so sorry. I really like that one. Let's keep going. Ooh, that's nice. Care. Let's gonna jump across to the lovely purple IPA reader page. Hello, Kendra. English to American voice. Care. Care. That's lovely. I like it. Care. Oh, this is nice. This is... still not feeling great about ability to write, but surface level cheering up a bit more. I'm sorry I complain so much. Brit. Cute. Cute. And sounds like more like a nickname. I suppose pop it down and we can possibly combine it with something at a later date. Okay. Flol. Maybe not Flol. I'm sorry, Flol. Not today, Flol. Let's keep going. Nick. Again, nice, but I'm worried it's just too similar to the English word neck. So I might leave that one. I can't write down every single one, sadly. But Trab, maybe not. Dunye. I'll write it down as potentially using it for something else. It's a good sound. Not that anything that pops up doesn't have a good sound. It might just not be talking to me at this point in time. Spoil Pam. Sorry. Ran. That's nice, just nice and simple. But again, already an English word, so maybe not. But maybe combine it with something. Dunya ran. Did I put Nya and R together? I'll have a look later. Or Randung for a part of a surname, or a place name, actually. That sounds pretty cool. Randung. I'm probably hideously mispronouncing my own language. Yeah, I might just draw a little line between those two. That could be the city name, maybe. Blah. Close to Blair, so could work, but I'm sure I'm writing down every name. I shouldn't be doing that. Okay, let's see if we can... Oh, that's pretty. Lole. I bet I'm pronouncing it wrong too. Let's just finish writing this down and... Excuse me, sorry. I'll just have a quick listen. Sorry, I probably shouldn't do this for too long because really have to get on to the character basics. Again, won't be going into huge detail, but we'll see. Lolaye, I think. Yeah, that's very pretty. Okay, just a few more maybe. Maybe not that one. I'm sorry. I'm too tired to try to pronounce it. I'm so sorry. Liot. It's not bad. Again, close to, or similar to some English names, so. Sendao. I like it. Am I pronouncing it correctly? It sounds a little Japanese. Oh, whoops. There we go. Zendao. Zendao? Zendao. I'll write you down because apparently I can't help myself writing down just about every single name that we generate. Sorry, as you can probably tell, well, as I've said as well, names do the happies for me. G. Simple G. Maybe not for a main character, but in the name bank. Preux. Again, not a main, but name bank. I should restrict myself to 5 more, shouldn't I? I'm sure we've got enough lovely things to work with the ones I've generated now and the names I did earlier. So 5 more. 5. Swim. That's cool. Swim. 4. 2. That's cute. Nice and simple. Simple is happy. Happy is simple. Is that pronounced furs or fears? Let me have a look. Fears. Fears. That's nice. I'm also liking the fact that not many of the ones that I've just generated, but quite a few ones that I generated before, and now this one have the ending in S. So maybe names ending in S are a bit of a trend. That was 3, wasn't it? So 2 more. 2 more. Glassed. Not sure about that one. Let's get another second one. Sticker. Maybe not. Spal. No. Bloob. No. Faltente. No. Rares. Another S ending one. I might just double check the pronunciation on that one in a second as well. I hope I'm going to be able to read my writing. My handwriting is reasonably atrocious. Sorry. Coming back over here. Ryrus? Yes, quite like that. I think we've got one more in the bank. Expew. Interesting, but maybe not. Let's try again. Pain. Let's have a listen. Pine. Probably pronouncing that wrong. It looks really nice. I just hope it is actually pronounceable. I'm sure it is. I don't want to wind up pronouncing it incorrectly. But it is. I like how that one looks, at least. Okay, so we'll work with these names. I'm just going to jump back over to the Scrivener page. And so let's just name everyone. And then we can start character basics. Basics only. Because, it's probably almost better to just stick with the basics, and we'll get to know them better as we write the story. We can add more, flesh everything out. We might even have to, I read something saying it's good to do the character interviews and very, very in-depth writing on the character, all of their background, even if it'll never make it into the book, just so you can have them react in the right way. But maybe it also sometimes works in reverse. Sometimes you have to see them react to an insane situation before you know how they got there. I don't know. You have to see how they react in that instance, and then you'll figure out how they got there. Maybe there is no one rule. Anything could work in different situations for different writers. So, main girl. this is the name that's probably going to be used the most and said the most throughout the entire book. At the moment, I was leaning a little bit towards Nue. Nue being the I was leaning towards Nue. I like Lalaya, but I don't think I really want it for main girl. Care, if that's how we pronounced it, I think it was. That could also be nice. I was wondering if it sounded more masculine, but then who cares if it does? Anyone can have any name. So let's just put a few possibilities down. I liked Ses as well, but maybe not for main girl. And I think I do want her having the one-syllable name. I suppose Greena's there, but I don't think I want her to be Greena. There's also Liot, which is nice. Would that work for her, do you think? Liot. I'm still leaning towards Nue. I'm just going to have to somewhere have a very, very clear pronunciation guide. I suppose I'm just worried people will be frustrated because they don't know how to pronounce it. Well, we'll leave her as Nue for now, and we can revisit it if we have to. Little bro. Stu. No. Sorry, Stu's again, I'm not teasing you. It's a lovely name. Maybe for little bro. Oh, what was the one I was looking at? Little bro, where are you? Again, bringing these ones up. Oh, I suppose Min could be very cute for main girl as well. I might throw Min up there too as a maybe. Feel free to let me know your favorites of the options for each character. I may not go with what you think, but it'd be nice to hear what others think. What else was the thought for little bro? I suppose Noel is also... I think I was feeling Noel a little bit more for outside boy. So let's put Noel as a possibility for outside boy. And for inside boy, I was feeling Kraus. You mind, I'm going to be... Was I even understandable there? Please keep in mind that I will be keeping this list of names, and it'll be very useful for naming other characters as they crop up as well, and perhaps using for surnames and place names. So I doubt any name I took down will be left to languish unused. I'm sure another one stuck out as a maybe for little bro. No. Drawing a blank. Min and Liot are your favourites so far. Okay, well, Min is definitely easier to read and probably easier on the brain. So what if we shift Nue down to the child, and we have Min here as main girl? Min and Liot. They do sound good together for sibling names. Sibling names have to sound good together. It's a rule. How are we pronouncing Kea again? I've forgotten, and now I've gone and gotten rid of the pronunciation. Something like Keir. Min and Keir, Min and Liot. I still want to use Keir. Possibly for the hunter, or maybe we should drop it down to a support character. Sorry, I'm spending way too much time thinking about this, aren't I? Keir. Why don't we just pop Keir down here as a maybe for the researcher? And we have Liot here for little bro. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I like them, that they sound good together. I think you're right there. So Min and Liot. Min and Liot. I think we have the names for our main characters. This makes me happy. This is nice. Okay. Excuse me for a moment. I'm so sorry. Min and Liot. So, best friend. I was wondering whether to give her the pretty Lolaya or Citra. Citra probably sounds tougher. I also thought Ces was a very pretty name. Maybe we give the hunter a very, very pretty name. So, you know. Oh, I forgot about Brioc. That's the other name I really liked. And I suppose we're not set on Liot yet. Brioc could also be an option. Progresso, indeed. Oh dear. I suppose Brioc is also another option for outside boy if I wasn't sure about having Noel as the spelling then. We could always shift Noel down here to another character, maybe maybe Little Bro's new creepy guardian. Seems a shame because it's such a lovely name, but I suppose plenty of truly evil people have lovely names and apparently lovely dispositions. Does not change the fact of their evilness. So maybe shift Noel down here. Maybe have Brioc for outside boy. And Trouse and Brioc. They sound pretty good together. They're a bit of a important pairing, so that could work. That could work. Mars is also one that popped up that I like that sounds like it belongs somewhere. So maybe put the big politician as Mars at the moment. I'm already feeling bad for some of these names that aren't being used right now. They are going to be used in some way. Most of them anyway. They will be used and I'll probably have to generate a whole lot more. Okay, best friend. Possibilities. Let's look. Possibilities are Citra, Lolai. I'm probably still pronouncing these incorrectly. They do have proper pronunciations. Have some kind of document or website somewhere with a pronunciation guide. I imagine I will have a website one day because I will be a respectable writer and all respectable writers must have websites, it seems. Oh dear. So Citra, Lolaya, Ces is a possibility. Faye is a possibility. I think those were I suppose there's Greener too. Lots of choice for best friend. Let's think about the hunter for a second. What kind of name should she have? I was wondering whether to give her something very pretty. So maybe she should be... I keep saying very pretty and stuff. All these names are quite pretty. Maybe more traditionally feminine sounding. Because she is terrifying. and people don't always associate traditionally feminine with this brand of terrifying. So, goodness me, I'm just looking at this list of names next to best friend and they all look so lovely together. Well, these down here, these are two people we haven't been introduced to yet. This is Inside Girl 1 and Inside Girl 2. They're pretty much, you know, Inside Boys Go Team. They're the people who make things happen. They're, you know, best friends of sort, or allies is probably the better term. So they do need names too. So we can probably use some of these. Might pop. I'm feeling Faye and greener down here. So let's take Faye and greener down from there. So that means, don't think I have any others that I was hugely keen on using. I still really like the name Fierce. Maybe this is the teacher, who is not in it a huge amount, but quite a lovely small role at the beginning. So maybe Fierce, given, you know, people here don't have surnames, kids would be calling teachers by their first names with some form of honorific. That's pretty. I suppose with the hunter we could also go really simple with the G or 2 names, but let's just have a look and see what these all look like together and see what we think. Goodness me, I don't know. Best friend and the hunter are giving me some trouble. Okay, down here, this is the hunter's guardian. So, older woman, very chill. I mean, one of these names might work. Oh dear, sorry. I really need to get a move on, don't I? Okay, well I suppose we can always make them working names. Oh, goodness me. Well, let's just cut out the 2 and G right now and just spread these 3 names across these 3 characters. Sorry, grandparent, you'll get a name one time. We'll get there. Okay. Citra, Lalaya, and Sace. Might... no. I'm so sorry. This must seem a little insignificant in some ways, but names are important. Goodness me, I didn't want to go much longer than half an hour to an hour. This is taking too long. I'm so sorry. I just can't decide. Well, let's, for the moment, make the guardian Citra. We'll make best friend Sace, and we'll make the hunter Lalaya for now. Subject to change if required, but okay. So let's shift you guys down here slightly. So this is the main cast names at present. Oh, back you go. So main girl is Min, little brother is Liot, best friend is Sace, assuming I'm saying it correctly. Inside boy is Traus, outside boy is Brioc, the hunter is Lalaya, and the child is Nue. Again, my pronunciation is probably terrible, but let's work with this. Let's work with this and get a move on. So, we can now call this Min. Okay, Min. We know she's about 18. Okay. Appearance-wise, I suppose we don't really need to go into appearance too much. We can discuss that later. That's not really the important stuff. But just for image, I was seeing her with dark curly hair, long in the beginning, gets a cut. Gets a cut for the sake of some form of disguise. And I also wanted a brown-eyed, given, you know, she's meant to be the opposite of a protagonist despite being the main character here. Going to be reasonably average in height and build. Skin tone. She's probably white in appearance, but how much sun do they get? Probably looking more towards olive-skinned. That would make sense for her, I think. I don't want to go into any more real detail with appearance. We'll figure out important things like, or things that could be important, like birthmarks or scars or interesting quirks a bit later. Good work on the name selection. Thank you so much. It did take way longer than it should have, but again, names are important. I started taking notes for this story in February. It's nice that they finally have names. Okay. So, for character, something I like to do is try to think of at least 10 adjectives for the character, sort of personality-based adjectives. So, well, they don't all have to be adjectives, I guess, just descriptions in some way, of which most are adjectives, but... Okay, so what we already know about Min is that she is reasonably sensible. She's also manages, despite that, to remain a dreamer. Well, as we said, she is polite, where politeness is due. I think an important word for her is, probably might put the qualifier in there as well, quietly tenacious. Sensible, dreamer, polite, tenacious. Oh, let me think. How else does she work? She's not hugely physically inclined as far as sports and stuff goes. She is a huge reader. I suppose that's... curious, I suppose, is a big one. She likes to learn, likes to know, wants to be a teacher, so curious is good. So is a big one as well as nurturing. I need to think of something completely off the wall for her. Because that's something I started coming across, is that frequently female characters tend to be the voice of reason. I want both Min and best friend, Sace, to at various times be the voice of reason and various times just be completely bonkers. They can swap it back and forth. Little bro's going to be primarily the voice of reason, except when he's, so panicked or upset he can't think straight. But, so I'm going to have to think of some wild trait for her. Oh, my head is just sort of... Now is not a good time to blank. Maybe I'll come back to that after we do a little bit of her background. Dear. I'm so sorry I am drawing blanks. I wanted to do so much more for characters. But background and family. It's a family she has. Grandparent and little brother. Oh, this is more specific. Mother and stepfather died several years ago in an apparent accident. I say in an apparent accident because with fate particles, you're never sure if someone's just, fate collateral, if someone nearby just had a fate attack and it's just got them as well in the blast. I'm doing a poor job of explaining all that, sorry. Hopefully it'll come out better when I'm writing it. Or if they accidentally brought it on themselves accidentally or on purpose brought it on themselves by illegally raising their fate. Don't think it's known. The reason why little bro had a fate reading several years ago was because their parents died. Usually when that happens, it means that one of their kids has a very high fate reading, and we all know protagonists don't tend to keep parents for long. Oh dear. This is really dark to just say it like that, but so few protagonists have both parents intact. I guess it's a slightly lazy storytelling habit to just, instant motivation or instant character background or something like that. My main character from my other story, his parents are alive. He just, they mean nothing to him. It's his foster mum and foster aunt who are the important parents to him, and they are both wonderful, loving parents. So he's good for parents. He's fine. Min and Liot less so. Okay, as a note, she doesn't know who her father is. I think she's probably asked and has the general idea that he's not great because, I'm pretty sure grandparent would have said something like it's better to just keep imagining he's wonderful in your mind if that's better for you, sort of thing. Oh dear. I imagine we'll find out at one point. Probably find some way to make it hurt because that's what we do. And background, as we know. Wrong. This sound. Zero fate. Trying to raise her fate for years to no avail. Give me a sec, sorry. Losing one or two parents often accelerates a child's development, I remember reading somewhere. I think you're right there, yes. Probably why it happens so often. Oh, wrong page. I'm looking at the wrong thing. You're not, but I am. Back we go. Wants to become a teacher. Soon to be placed in a permanent, probably awful job. Oh dear. It feels like I should be saying a lot more for background, but honestly, in this city, it's difficult for people to have too interesting of a background because, it's illegal to do anything interesting. So I suppose that's a creative excuse for me why not to go into too much detail for at least some of the characters, because there's not actually much to say apart from family relationships. I suppose I should say very close relationships with grandparent and the little bro. Happy, loving relationships there. Of course, there are family money troubles that add to stress as well. And I'm sure I'll think of other things as we go. It just seems like there should be so much more important. I'll probably think of a bunch another time and feel truly silly for not having thought of it now. Just let me have a quick jump over to my notes. I'll see if I said anything useful anywhere. Let's have a look. Boop, 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 boop. That's not the right one. Over here, please. I just don't want to read too much through these notes in my head because that's not entertaining. Okay, things that she likes to do. Reading's the big one. General learning and exploring, probably. You know, as much as you can explore in a closed-in city like that you can't leave. Or, you know, you take big risks to leave. Probably don't need the general there. Reading, learning and exploring. Not that. Daydreaming. Let's just put some nice normal teenager stuff in there. Hanging out with best friend. Oh dear. Should probably add in there. Such as breaking and entering into libraries. Here's where some of her sense goes down the toilet. She does break into libraries in the early morning hours to read books that she is technically not allowed to read. I feel like there should be some sort of local activity that she's into. Well, I'll probably have to put this one down. She does enjoy watching the reality TV shows. She does. She's not immune to that. I think best friend would enjoy them too, but she pretends she doesn't. I mean, there's not much other entertainment, not allowed to engage in much else except possibly just mind-numbing stuff. So there probably wouldn't even be many city festivals or anything. There'd be too much risk of stuff happening. I've probably written myself into a difficult place with this whole fate particles idea. There's just so much that could contradict each other or seem like self-fulfilling prophecies, but this is where I am. I will run with it. We'll keep trying to figure things out. Whoops. Sorry, got lost for a second. Oh dear. Sorry for all the sighing. I'm tired. Please forgive me. Always tired. I would love to stream one time when I'm not tired. I might have to revise my schedule. Next year it might be more possible if I'm still streaming to be able to stream during my daytime. That's probably a little more sustainable for me in the long run. Maybe then if I stream during the day, I feel all nice and accomplished and I've done something useful, so I'd still feel good at night and might be able to get a couple of hours writing every night before going to bed then. And get my main project done. That would be gorgeous. I need to stop rambling. I'm sorry. Okay, this feels woefully inadequate. I did save a whole bunch of lists of things, of questions, but there's just so many of them I found it rather overwhelming, so perhaps it's best at this point to just keep it as simple as this, and where I can, I'll flesh things out a bit more, and I can show you more complete versions at one point. If you don't mind, I think that's the way I'll have to take, the path I'll have to tread tonight, just to finish at a less ungodly hour. Oh dear. And yes, my current brain state isn't doing us any favors. Sorry, Min, you'll get a lot more work. You are very important. I like you very much. You are the main driving force of this story, and you will go far, and you are precious. Let's move on. Let's make this Liot. So, Liot is 12. I've already forgotten what comes next. What came next, Min? Brief appearance. Okay, so he is also the dark curly hair. Probably quite unruly, but he does his best to tame it. Seems reasonable. Thank you. Excuse me, sorry. Okay. He would have darker eyes than Min. So very dark brown eyes. I'll think of some lovely words to describe their appearances. We'll make sure they're lovely. Okay, I want him to be quite dark-skinned, so probably mid-brown skin. It's got to be a much more eloquent and beautiful way to say that. Just sounds so regimental to say mid-brown skin. We'll find better ways for the prose. And just to make him more vulnerable in this horrible situation, we'll have him quite small in height and build. Not yet even approaching his growth. Come on, we can do this. Growth spurt. Oh dear, so I imagine there's going to be a lot of characters looming over the poor kid. Okay, what came after that? A few descriptive words. So, practical. Are practical and sensible two different things? Or do they count as one? I'll put them as two, just to sort of hammer the point home. Practical, sensible, very, very shy. Probably naturally quite anxious. I'm actually wondering a little bit whether to give him a hot temper. And, you know, one that he doesn't have much control over, so when he does have outbursts in front of people and realizes his just shyness and anxiety triples. It's probably a hot temper, hard to control, but probably reasonably difficult to elicit that reaction as well. But when it hits, it hits. So it takes a while to get it out. Well, a while / a lot. Because I just feel like we're making him a bit too much of a pushover. Not that having a hot temper makes someone less of a pushover, but at least he'll, you know, speak up now and then. I need to think of a better way to say it, but I think I need to put over here, not a pushover. Seems almost silly and very, I don't know, it just makes her seem like a pushover, but to say accommodating / considerate. I don't know, she's seeming, not that any of these traits are bad, I really need that something wild for her. I mean, besides her breaking and entering into libraries. That's where curious comes in, but a willingness to throw caution to the winds to achieve her goals. Or to achieve certain goals. got to be a way to say that better. Okay. I'm not quite sure on the hot temper yet. Might think of something else, but kind of like the idea of him just sort of bursting out at points at the other kids when they've said something horrible, and him having to, disappear to calm down and just, never want to reappear again. Poor kid. Oh, that's a simple one I forgot for Min. She is actually quite clever. I don't really want to make her clumsy. That seems like a common trait for YA heroines. So not clumsy, but not particularly athletic either. Liot, on the other hand, I'm wondering whether we should do that to the poor kid and make him, for want of a better word, clumsy. I'm sure there's a better word I'm looking for. We'll see if I can think of it. Or maybe less clumsy and just more. Why bold? No bold. Awkward. Oh dear, he's starting to sound very much like a character I already have in my other book, but she is quite different, I suppose. It is sounding rather like her. I'm going to have to think of some other things here. What's the word I'm looking for? It's one related to family relationships. Loving's not the word I'm looking for. Hopefully that's implied. I guess he is also fairly nurturing. I cannot spell anymore. I spelled it correctly before. Fairly nurturing in his way, but I don't think I want to pop that down there as a main thing. I say, Sighing, thinking. Yeah, you would have thought I'd thought more about these. I feel I know them in my head, but it's hard to get that into the right words, apparently. Well, anyway, we can copy-paste some of this background. Big sister, very close relationship with big sister. Of him, it's mother and father. Why can't I think of how to describe this kid? Well, I suppose a good one for him is determined. He just sort of keeps pushing when trying to find out what's happened to his family. Even when he knows it's better that he shouldn't, he still has to, despite the practical side of him telling him this is a very bad idea. Excuse me, sorry. Feels mean to put it down as a trait. Let's just pop it there for now. I don't really want anything truly off the wall for little bro, but we need something else. Sorry, just looking briefly at notes. Briefly at my notes. Not sure there's as much useful there. Not a huge amount there for little bro. I'm sorry, little bro. Sorry, Liot. He'll definitely get more. What does he want to do with his future? I'm guessing even at 12 he's probably resigned to getting kind of the job that most people in the neighborhood get. So resigned and fairly accepting of the idea he'll be given, I'll just put it down as the local job. It's the main thing that most people in the neighborhood are given to do. You know, people with much lower and people with much higher are of course exceptions, but the local job. He kind of... It feels to me that he's sort of the one running the household. And sort of keeping track of grandparent and big sister, making sure they're okay. Okay, so that's something here. Organized. Oh, you want me to use American English? Sorry. Organized. Still not quite the word I'm looking for. But he is sort of taking charge there, isn't he? So he is in some particular ways assertive. Yes. Sorry, this is proving to be a little more difficult than I hoped it would be. I hope that's not a sign for how the writing process is going to go. Oh well. It's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. I'll think of better ways to say things. I've got to quit with all the sighing. I don't think I'd ever noticed quite how much I sigh. I'm sorry. Okay. Did I go past oh yeah, things he likes. What does he like? As silly as it sounds, probably housework. I think it might give him a little bit of calm. And he likes looking after his family. Maybe it gives him a sense of purpose and control, as well as just he likes looking after his family. I need to give him some sort of... I really want him to have something he can do that, even if it's not particularly useful to the resistance of the story or anything, something that can make him stand out against all the other kids after he's made a chosen one. Something they can sort of highlight. Just having a bit of trouble thinking, given he's neither academically nor athletically inclined. Just not quite sure what that can be. My head keeps saying juggling, but I'm like, that takes a lot of physicality, a lot of balance. Needs something. Excuse me, sorry. Needs an impressive-ish talent/hobby. I'll just put in a dislike down here. I don't think he likes the reality TV shows. So therefore, another hit when he winds up having to be on them. And probably doesn't like studying or sports. Probably makes him feel bad about himself. Other things he can actually like. I think he just needs simple, nice things. You know, a nice cup of tea sort of thing. He always imagined his life would be simple and quiet, and he was okay with that. Probably belongs somewhere else, but we'll pop it there for now. Oh dear. He's very, very young to be sort of resigned to this life, but I suppose that makes it a little sad, and I suppose realistic as well. I do just kind of like the idea that he does like the housework and looking after his family. I think it's sweet. Okay. I don't know what it is, but needs something fairly common in the city that he's quite afraid of. I mean, besides, you know, people. Okay. Let's move on from Liot for now. We will improve these, but we are also fast running out of time. So let's keep these reasonably brief. I am sorry I'm not living up to what I said I wanted to do throughout each of these planning streams, but given I have only just started streaming and have only just started trying to do these things while streaming, I'm not going to have a realistic idea of what's possible yet. So it's good that we can adapt on the go. So, Cés, best friend. She's also 18. I wanted her to have black hair, thick and straight, and probably some kind of shortcut, some sort of short and choppy cut, because it's cute and fun. I think I wanted her to have black eyes, very dark. Well, let's just add the say she has big black eyes. So, what do they call them? Is it doe eyes when they're quite large? Large and soft, so maybe black doe eyes. I hope I'm using that correctly. And she is a little more physically intimidating, so she is a bit taller than average, reasonably, well, muscled, reasonably fit at least. Maybe let's just say impressive arms, because nice arms are nice. Well, at least maybe she can be proud of her arms, and so she should be. Okay. I have actually taken quite a few notes for her personality down, if I can find them, because it's a lot to do with her personality that causes some clashes in part 2. So one big thing that she does is tends to speak in, instructions, excuse me, rather than requests. Where have I put these notes? I have written quite a lot about her. Where are we? Mean girl. Ooh. Excuse me, sorry. Why haven't I replaced the batteries in my mouse yet? Late answer, but it's okay. The stream's been informative and entertaining so far. Thank you for that. Feedback is wonderful. Thank you. Oh, I've just hit another error, so buffering may occur again. I'm sorry. Oh dear. Back to Scrivener for me. Why can I not think? I just came across a few notes for little bro. Here we go. Here are some words that I wrote down for him. And I lost them again. Come on, where are they? Little bro. Anxious, that's not the one I wanted. Where are you? When I was just looking at you. There you are. There's some of the words. There we go, little bro. Sweet, cautious, protective. That's what works. Oh dear, where's best friend? Dear, I am just going through the notes, and it's no good when I'm not saying them aloud, but it's too hard to read them all aloud. There's too many of them and they're just a big splat. So I guess with best friend as well, it's cautious, feels like it suits her too, but it needs to be stronger, so suspicious will work. She's very proactive. I suppose better for this is takes command. She's also quite sensible. Hopefully this reconnects, sorry. Oh, we're back. We're back. Sorry about that. I just completely fell off the planet for a moment. It's always a bit of a nerve jump when that happens. Just what am I going to do if it doesn't come back? Well, we just stop and apologize. Oh dear. I suppose it is revealed in some ways that she can be quite a jealous person. She can be bold, definitely brave. Bold and brave the same thing? Not necessarily, but I'll pop them together just in case. What's the word I'm looking for? There's a better way of saying this, but justice fire. That'll work. Maybe a little overdramatic on occasions. Oh, did I spell that wrong? Oh, it wants me to separate them. Okay, we can do that. If that pleases you, I shall indeed include a hyphen. Just having some water, sorry. Probably don't need to tell you every time, you'll probably notice. the same as with the others. I know her well in my head. But my head doesn't know how to get it out properly. Hopefully it'll come out as I'm writing, or I'll go through my notes and find more information. Oh, no data again. Sorry about that. Hopefully it'll jump back in a minute. Do-dee-doo-dee-doo-be-doo. Friend. Best friend. Oh dear, where are we? Sorry, I'm still just scrolling through my notes, trying to find the best way to describe her, but I suppose blunt and cynical apply, though not all the time. Oh dear. Do-do-be-doo. Have I looked at this one already? Well, let's just put the slash here. I feel given there's a few slightly more negative sounding traits here, so I think I want to put very naturally encouraging, always perking up. I suppose I haven't really put anyone having a sense of humour down, so she'd probably have a bit of a sardonic sense of humour. I hope I can actually write a sardonic sense of humour, because I don't think I've got one. So we'll see how that goes. Well, anyway, just likes making men laugh. And I think she'd probably have to be very generous. Yeah, I can see if she and her family are in a slightly better position, or even if they're not, she'd probably be sharing everything with Min and Liot. Oh dear. So, background. I'm guessing, you know, in this world, a fairly normal family situation for this world. So probably 2 parents and possibly maybe an older sibling who's maybe they had a slightly higher fate, so they've moved to a different neighborhood. You really want me to use American English, don't you? I am using American English with my main project, just because I think it works with the story and the world a bit better than British English. I haven't decided for this one yet. Possibly I'll lean towards American English again. I don't know. For me, this is probably going to sound ridiculous, but for me, American English just sounds a bit more youthful and fun and scrappy, whereas I'd prefer to use British English with more my epic fantasies sort of thing. Oh dear, the door's shut. I hear my sweet feline meowing outside for attention. I did give her cuddles, but she left early and I had to get up. So I may be at her mercy when I stop streaming. Okay, so an important thing for Sace is her relationship with Min. Probably should have popped this on Min's page too, but let's just pop it here. A lot of things I've seen for relationships between best friends, there was maybe one sort of big event that brought them together in their past, and they can refer back to that and whatnot. But I just I kind of like the idea of just they were always there. The feline demands attention. She does. She does. I can hear her through the door and my noise-cancelling headphones and the background music. So she's being reasonably insistent at this moment. Oh, sweet feline. Sweet feline of mine. Your needs shall be attended to in due course. Okay. So I think I prefer it if their relationship was they've just always been there for each other. So through all of, Min's Zero Fate readings, Sace was there. When Sace's older sibling had to move away, Min was there. They've always been there. I think that just in itself creates a very, very powerful bond. I should probably think of a few sort of biggish events that they can share, though, that we can sort of refer back to and use as inside jokes to show how close they are. Excuse me, sorry. Yes, in a few days I want to do a stream sort of thinking about things. It sounds silly to just say it like this, but things that I want to include. So things like character arcs or ways to show relationships or even tropes. I haven't thought nearly as much about it as I should, but imagine that we'll just try to be quite relaxed on that day and just scribble down some ideas. So maybe I can think of a few things like this then. Dear, really need to get a move on. Sorry, I feel ridiculous. I've barely done any of them. Okay. I'll think of, if I can, I will write fairly detailed biographies of them at one point. Okay, things she likes. Well, for want of a better term, combat arts. She likes learning new skills and implementing them wherever possible. Brings her great glee. Lockpicking being one of these things. I'm guessing she assists in the library, breaking and entering the library against her better judgment, because it's not for a good reason in her mind, but the actual breaking and entering part, because she can do it, bring her great glee. Just being useful, having a greater purpose, having the final word. Reality TV, though she sneers at it and denies it. I feel like I want to give her a sort of counter hobby to combat art, so maybe something like knitting, sewing, maybe sewing. I mean, it seems silly not to list all of her many random skills and knowledge that she's picked up. Ooh, this one might sound a bit silly, but again, I just said with Min it was exploring. For her it's more like, what do they call it? The orienteering through the city as much as possible. Min just sort of likes. That's something I didn't put down for her, for likes. This one might sound silly, but the beauty in small things. seems important for her. Playfully combative, she's a fighter. Yes, she has learned whatever she can from around the place, and tries to teach Min bits and pieces, and just sort of drill the same simple things in her head, so if anything happens, it just comes out. Because that's what I didn't put down. Min is a little bit spacey, and she described spacey, and she's described herself as inoffensive, which means we could probably describe Sace as offensive in more ways than one. And yeah, I suppose with this little sense of humour, we can say that she's got a bit of a sharp tongue. Sharp tongue and slow burn temper, I think. But yes, she's very, very useful in the city, you know, because she's planning to help lead the city side of the rebellion. But then she's taken out of her environment and still expected to, you know, protect Min. And hence why some of the uglier parts of her rear their head when she's sort of pitting herself against Outside Boy, or Brioc. So what's the word for that? I suppose we can say she's competitive, but that's not really what I'm trying to think of. Okay. Doesn't like. Probably a fair bit. Well, reality TV, despite liking it. Hates the idea of it. Well, chosen ones in general, and the whole system. Though I suppose no one likes it, but she loathes it with a fiery passion of 1,000 suns, the sort of thing. Oh, let's make it more impressive. The system. Look down on anything bad happening to Min or Liot. Feeling worthless. Well, I suppose no one would like that, but it seems important to state it for her. I think we got to move on, and we just can't be in nearly as much detail, just the basics. I'm so sorry, I meant to get all of this and so much more done. That's not what I wanted to do. See, that's what I'd originally had. Move to trash. Let's just have a nice, normal text. Who's next on the list? Trouse, Inside Boy. Well, let's just give all of them there. Put Brioc next. The hunter and the child. Lolaya. And Nuer. Okay, Trouse. Keep things as simple as possible. We'll make it better later. Blonde, probably a very tidy, quite short cut. Are we not supposed to have the E on the end for gentlemen? I'm not sure. I kind of like just having the E for everyone. I'll probably stick with blue eyes, pale white skin. Should we give him some cute freckles? We'll see. He'd be quite athletic and tall. Stereotypical chosen one height and build. Probably more lean, athletic than overly, I mean overly, but particularly muscular. Okay. It's even worse with Strauss. I know him in my head so well, but it's hard to think of the right words to encompass him properly. Well, for one thing, very intelligent, very adaptable, high concentration levels, always 100 steps ahead. He isn't great with people, but he's good at acting like he's good with people. Good actor. Actually, not great with people. He's not shy, he's just... What's the word I'm looking for? I'm sure I'll think of it. I suppose one word to use here, he's just a little bit odd. I really want to think of the better words to describe him. He's a good kid. He deserves better descriptive words. Often says the wrong thing. Not, oh, probably goes up here. Not much tact. I don't know, I'm getting a little bit, if you've seen The Untamed, I'm getting a few Lanjan vibes for Trells. Sort of very stern and stoic. You know, hard to break. Oh, composure. Composure hard to break, but when it does break, it breaks. Break. Okay, gotta keep moving on. So, chosen one from early on. Given his high levels, probably would have been found when he was very young. Picked up when he was maybe just 4? Not prudent. Yes, not prudent. Let's throw that down. Not prudent in the least. I suppose another good word to throw up here is calculating. What am I thinking? Even I don't know, apparently. It's not the best sign. Let's just keep going. Can always fix these up. So very accustomed to the lavish and ridiculously stressful life of a top chosen one. I'll probably just have chosen one sort of used as a bit of a derisive term. I'll figure out proper things to call them, but we'll work with this for now. When was he introduced to the resistance? So we need some sort of traumatic event. Traumatic event. That gradually led to joining the resistance. Because I think with him, given he was sort of brought in so early, you'd think it'd be a bit harder for him to break out and realize how awful this all is. You know, they got him so young. So I'm not quite sure what that is, but excuse me, we'll figure that out. We'll know it. We'll know it's happened. Dear. Has topped yearly, just yearly competitions. I'll just call them that for ease right now. His competitions ever since he started competing. And these sort of competitions start when they're 16. They do other sort of things for the younger kids, but these big ones start when they're 16. What year? It would have been when they were 16. He and Brioc would have competed, and Brioc would have won the first one, but he left soon after that. For him to have been out there so long already, he would have left soon after he was 16. So came second in his first intercity competition. Well, the competitions sort of amalgamate everything they're tested in, and done in an entertaining way, of course. One. Hold on a second, sorry. I think it's my feline soon. I was just worried the small one had woken up. One the next 2 years. He is in the upper ranks of the resistance. I wouldn't say he's in charge, but he's sort of the power behind the throne sort of thing. Wouldn't him being brought in early makes him realize how bad the system of him being calculated knows. Keep that feeling to himself. That's probably true. It's probably true. Okay. So... I'll just asterisk this so I can think about it some more. I think that makes sense. He wasn't corrupted by the system even after his education. That seems like a good word to use for him. Uncorruptible. And of course I spelt it wrong. Able, isn't it? No, incorruptible. Oh my goodness, I was really far off. Incorruptible. He cannot be touched. I'll just put one here for now. I'll think of a lot more, but dislikes being made fun of. Yeah. There'll be a lot more than that, but we've got to keep moving on. Okay, up to Brioc. I'm guessing I might leave the child for now. We'll leave her for now. I'll try to get at least a bit of the hunter done as well before we stop. But yes, I'd meant to stop after an hour and a half tonight. I'll get better at this, I promise. Except probably not during November, because I'm going to be trying to write as much as possible. I'm still not sure how I'm going to fare. I'm trying to actually write properly live. Okay. So Brioc, he's 18 too. I hadn't sort of settled, had I? I know I wanted to have quite long hair. I think I wanted to be black. Oh, that's right. I wanted him to originally be black, but dyes it lots of different colours. Like, bit scraggly. He lives out in the canyon. He's not going to hairdressers. Makes his own dyes, probably. Again, black eyes, very dark. Eyes. Don't know how if I'll keep it, but just small and fun popped into my head. So. And again, probably the stereotypical chosen one, height and build, tall and fit. He's possibly a bit more muscled than Trouse would be. Okay, I've probably got a few more words for Brioc than others, but things like quick, flirty and fun, pretty casual, would offhand kind of be the same sort of thing. Excuse me. Bit arrogant, but not in a funny way, not an infuriating way. Probably a bit reckless. He's sounding a little bit like my main character from my big project. That's probably why he's my favorite already. I'll make him different. He's a lot more competent than Kaz is. Competent. And I spelled it wrong. Of course I did. I'm going to have to not worry about spelling when I'm actually writing. Otherwise I'm going to be wasting, possibly 20 minutes of a whole stream just spell checking. So, this competent. Feels weird to just say competent, but throw them in any situation. I suppose competence is adaptable. There we go. He's a bit of a teaser, because that should maybe go down in likes, but who's here? Matter of fact, maybe. Just, yes, I am this great, and it's just the way things are. Like, not big-headed about that at all. Well, I suppose it's cute to have him, a bit arrogant in some ways, but also modest in others. Oh dear. Oh. Light-hearted. Suppose we know he'd have a bit of a dark past. I imagine his escape from the system would have been a bit traumatic. Oh dear. Remembered a word for min. I suppose it sort of works with sensible, but he's a realist. Optimistic. Briok is optimistic. Confident. So much confidence. I suppose as well, as with many other chosen ones, he's incredibly intelligent. And much more than Briok, he's very athletic. Yeah, I'm guessing Trouse's is a bit more of a workout body, but Briok's is, yeah, he's been dealing with more of this stuff firsthand. Okay. Can add some more when I come across the notes. Oh, I suppose this is an important thing. Oh, I remembered some of the most important ones that... Okay, so... Stupidly loyal. That's a big one. And, you know, places huge amount of trust in others. So, despite his situation, he is actually very trusting. When that trust is broken, all hell breaks loose. So when best friend leaves, I imagine he views that as very much trust being broken, even if not his, broke Min's trust. So I'm guessing he's not going to be happy when he next sees best friend Sais. Okay. Yeah, you can sort of tell he's my favourite, can't you? I've thought about him a lot more just with these sort of things. Okay, so what are we doing over here? Stuff he can do. Well, there's not much he can't do. He's a very proficient, Oh no, background. We haven't done background yet. Let's keep it brief. Given his is fairly high too, let's make him another early found chosen one, so more to sort of back up his and Trouse's relationship. Another chosen one found early. Maybe a little bit later. He was 6, maybe? There's a few more memories of his home and parents than Trouse. I'm kind of guessing... Oh, I'd kind of like to put this down to here. Just in certain situations, a bit dense. Okay. Before he left, was not a member of inner resistance before he left. Left the chosen one ranks, was highly illegal and messy and traumatic. Why did he leave? Probably a bunch of reasons, all building up to him just saying nope. Oh dear, I'll figure that all out. Might be a good time to figure that out in a couple of days. Was recruited by Trouse to be an outside contact. How was he recruited by Traus? Has been preparing the canyon as a headquarters for the resistance. Safe caves, tunnels, etc. Leader on the outside. There are others. That'll probably do for now. Likes combat arts. He's a fighter. Probably, well, definitely a much, much better one than best friend, but she can probably grudgingly swallow her pride a few times and let him teach her some things. Proud, that's a good word for her. She is proud. I really need to replace the batteries in my mouse. Probably does like being the best. Outdoors. There might be one reason as well he had to leave. It's so stifling. Outdoors. Fresh air. Night sky. Yeah. Freedom. Worth it all. Teasing Traus. And Sace. Really like to stick in that he likes animals. I'd kind of like to have a dog in there and there. Maybe that is another character to keep track of. We'll see. Haven't thought too much about animals. I doubt there'd be very many pets in the cities. Most people wouldn't be able to take care of them. And I imagine there's only certain animals around the canyon. Possibly some of the chosen ones of politicians might keep birds of prey. It's a bit of a status symbol, I guess. Or maybe he could have a bird of prey. Carry a pigeon. I'll think of some more later. Doesn't he like cages? Upsetting people tends to happen sometimes without meaning it. I think that'll probably be one for Traus as well. I mean, in different ways. Oh well. Trust being broken. It's a really, really big one for him. Should I be extra mean and just make that he's, has a problem with pain? Or maybe not pain, maybe blood, or just the idea of I don't know. I do have another character who is very blood and needle squeamish in another book. He's a very, very, very different character. Let me think. be specifically. Can't handle seeing blood. Closes his eyes, he's okay. So he'll figure out a way to, you know, well, not cope, but handle it when he's injured. And, you know, talk him in through some stuff. Okay. The liar. This is the last one we'll do. I don't know how I thought we'd ever have time to do things like character interviews or even just in any more detail than this. Or maybe it is just me. Everything always takes so long. Wish things didn't take quite so long. That's okay. She's slightly older, only slightly. 19. Might go with light reddish brown hair. I think I want it long in a ponytail because that's what I want. That's what I want. Oops. Dragging things everywhere and nothing works. Let's just go with thick and wavy for now. Can always change it. Not really important for the story, but it's nice to know how people look. I think someone who did read some of the early chapters of my my main project commented that they sort of didn't know what Kaz looked like until quite a few chapters in, and that they would have liked it if they could know what he looked like earlier on, but there's just no better place to put it, so I think I'm fairly happy where it is. What kind of eyes should we go with? Other eyes. Well, let's just do the sort of blue-grey with a bit of brown around the middle. That's sort of like what my eyes are like, so let's just go with that. With some light brown around the pupils. Again, well, probably not quite the stereotypical. No, I want her to be. Where should she be? Maybe not quite as tall as other chosen ones. And much fitter than most. Very strong build. Oh dear, I can think. It's description words next, isn't it? Well, big one. Determined, chip on shoulder. Has integrity. What's the word I'm after? Why can I never think of the words I want? I think she can be a bit rude. Again with the arrogance. I think arrogant is a common theme among chosen ones. can be a bit reckless, despite being, having a good tactical mind. Actual softy. Probably a bit desperate at this point. That was a good suggestion. Appearance descriptions help the readers a lot. I did very much appreciate it, but I still just can't find a better place to put it. It's the main description of his appearance, I think, is in chapter 6, and my chapters are usually around 2,000 to 3,000 words long, so it's not too far in. That's just the first time he gets anywhere near a reflective surface, and I don't like saying just randomly, he had scruffy black hair that was longish to his shoulders and whatnot, just without there being any reason to be talking about his appearance. He's standing by like a gaming machine glass case, so he sees his reflection, so therefore I can describe it. What's the word? This isn't quite what I'm looking for, but he's frequently humbled and takes lessons to heart. Admits when wrong after initial semi-tantrums. Things like rough. And again, the blunt. All I can think of right now is like how to make, glowering into a description, just, constant glower. Okay, let's move on. I think I gotta go to bed. Okay, constant glower. Background. And I wish I could have gone into more detail with the backgrounds, but at least putting down what we know has happened. So I'm guessing she wasn't an early chosen, not an early one like that, but maybe when she was 12, same as little brother. One on first routine reading at age 12. Oh, forgot. Competitive. I suppose integrity, the other word we're looking for, is noble. Oh, well, for one thing, didn't spell it right, but big one. Reasonably terrifying. I'm just trying to think. I mean, as much as all of this is, I still need something a bit off the wall for her, the same as Lolai. No, she's Lolai, the same as Min. She can... I suppose those sort of things would fall into recklessness. Just making terrible decisions in the heat of the moment. Had a very competitive with peers and her many enemies. just can't spell competitive. Competitive, not competitive, competitive. Dear. That's what you want, American English. A favourite among, well, probably the people and the system, or the people and the government. You know, with Strauss, he's the city's golden boy. Favorite among the people and the government. Probably won every competition she's been in. She's always the top. But there's got to be some. Probably not everything needs. No, I don't want it. She won every competition she's been in. Ranked highly in every competition, but never placed until 1 year wins. How did she fall from grace? Maybe accusations of cheating? Maybe something mental health related. Related. Maybe there was even some sort of conspiracy among her peers or something. Well, not just peers, it would have to be from on high as well. Maybe they thought she just, wasn't doing good enough, or they wanted to create more drama and saw her as expendable or something. Made an example of for something. Think of it better. Kept in, something like house arrest for the last year or so. Could she have been accused of being in the rebellion? They let her take the fall. Excuse me. It's a bit dirty, but I suppose it's possible. And I take it Strauss wouldn't have approved of this at all. Well, I'll have to think about these. Possibly it's a combination of everything. Given opportunity. Very bitter about it. Not about never placing in a competition until the year she wins. Give an opportunity to hunt down, capture Min and Says. To deem herself and win her freedom. I guess they could see it as sort of community service. Service to get out of prison. I'm not even sure I should tackle likes and dislikes. It seems likes would probably be a very short list and dislikes would be a very long list. But I kind of like just a few. Well, again, combat arts. Big fan. We're going to have a bit of an epic fight between her and Brioc. think I said that yesterday. Combat arts. Something nice and calming. Play a musical, instrumental, sing. It would make sense if she would. I imagine most of the chosen ones would have lessons. Given, all music is by chosen ones. All books are written by chosen ones. That'll be nice. Also give this good sort of contrast to how terrifying she is, I guess. Quiet things. This one sounds silly, but if there's a particular time of day or weather that really, brings her peace, I don't know. She just loves the rain. And grey mornings. I feel like I probably should have put something more simple like foods or drinks or whatnot for people's likes. We'll get to that. I suppose as well. Being the best, not that she's ever quite been the best. Can there be... Maybe have her with animals as well, or I don't know. She really like technology as such, or she just uses the drones. I think it's more likely she just uses them as a tool than she's actually interested in the technology. Oh, might be sweet to put it down as her guardian. She likes her guardian. Her guardian is good to her. Oh, I think I kind of want to put something here for Sace. Fashion. So I wondered about it for Lalaya for a moment. Like, no, she'd probably like to wear high quality things, but it's more for the quality as opposed to fashion itself. Or maybe that's something just like things of quality, impressed by workmanship of weapons, armor, etc. Dislikes many things. Anything inconvenient. Inconvenient is the big one. Anything that doesn't go to plan. And people try to calm her down. There's a good word. Passionate. Probably applies to Cess as well. Where are we? Though I think if we do turn out doing that, she was accused of being in the rebellion and they let her take the fall, I think think if she found that out, she'd react more in shock and being broken as opposed to getting angry, at least initially. So there's a good word for her. Not that, if you weren't this, you'd react in any other way, but I think she is actually quite fragile. Easily hurt. Okay, I think we might just have to leave it there. Oh well, at least we've got some stuff together, at least some stuff to work with. Hopefully it's alright stuff to work with. I'm not sure I'm ever going to have proper time to pull everything together now, but at least we can use this to get a start on the book, and maybe even after Nano I can do up full on proper character profiles and biographies. I think that might be the best way to go. I don't want to stress about all of this. NaNoWriMo is a lot already on its own. Well, so far she seems the most interesting, probably. I suppose that's why it's a bit of a shame she's probably not going to come in until a little of the way into part 2. So I don't know, maybe we can find a way to get her in there more. And I definitely need to make Min and Liot more interesting. I really don't want them to be bland. I'm worried people would just see the way they are now as bland. That's why I need something wild for Min. Yeah, but I think maybe there'll be a way to bring her in sooner. I wonder if there's any possible way that she and Min could cross paths, or maybe she and Liot. I'm not sure if she and Liot could actually cross paths, but he'd probably get plenty of stories about her, because I think she and Lolaya and Briok would be used as cautionary tales, really, for not just chosen ones, but people in the city as well, as to what can happen when things go wrong. I guess that's another reason why I want the fight between them to be fairly epic. They're both the chosen ones gone wrong, in inverted commas. Oh, I forgot with Lolaya. There's all of this, but I did want her to not speak out against the system, but speak out against some people in power. And I guess they didn't like that. Yeah. Even though I do have up here admits when wrong, she probably doesn't like admitting when she's wrong. She just does it. Does it because it's the right thing. Yeah. I'm really going to have to work on Min and Liot, aren't I? I know Sayers is a bit more developed than them as well. I do have a lot more notes on her. I just can't figure out how to do it properly at the moment. Ryuk and Traus. Okay. Well, again, I'm not sure I'm going to get a chance to work on character profiles much more before we actually get started, but I'll have to peek back at these in a few days when I start writing down things that I want to be included just in general. Like a few of the things that I've put question marks for about their background as needing something to happen along these lines, but not quite sure what. Maybe we can have some more time to think about that then. I hope I'm still mildly coherent at this point. Goodness me, I am sorry we've gone so long. I definitely did not mean to. Goodness me. Okay. Oh dear. We should probably just just call it a night. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I'm sorry, I hope I haven't infuriated you to any degree at this point. I'm somewhat infuriating myself. Just, it's difficult when you know things are happening in your head, but you just can't convey it, either by speaking or by writing. It's frustrating. I'm wondering if when we actually start writing, how much I'm actually going to wind up talking. I know I'll have to do as much commentary on what I'm writing as possible, but I think I may just have to sort of try to settle into the zone sometimes, if possible. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I said we weren't going to go for very long tonight. It was the name generator. I was having so much fun with it. Oh well. So, here are our characters. I think the only names I'm still not 100% sold on are Sace and Lolaya here, but I do quite like them, so we'll stick with them for now. If they change, they change. So I think I'm going to have to figure out a better way to end things. I just keep sort of floating around on other notes and tangents. I think we're just going to have to finish at one point and just foot down. This is it. So I think this has to be it. So good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you again for joining me. I hope, again, it was mildly entertaining and it's, somewhat interesting. Having a semi idea of what's going on in my head. Good progress so far. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So we'll wrap things up here and shall see you maybe tomorrow when we try to do a little bit of world building. Let's try again tomorrow to see if we can keep things a bit shorter, but given, it's world building, I don't know if that'll be possible. Had a good time. Glad to hear it. Alrighty. Until tomorrow then. Until tomorrow. Let's turn down this music. And let's go this way.